A very exciting author, Joe Calandino. He was actually a full patch member of the Hells Angels before he was kicked out, and then got into addictions and is now in the road to recovery. He has a new book out, To Hell and Back, and he's here to talk about it. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start by talking about getting kicked out of the Hells Angels, because a lot of people, you know, when they hear me make that introduction, they think, what do you have to do to get kicked out of the Hells Angels?
Well, I was making a lot of poor choices. It started, with my drug usage. My drug usage started to spiral out of control. From there, I was getting into many altercations, fighting, and, not creating the proper attention that the club wanted. And they had had enough after a 2005 scenario. I was in a major Kelowna casino fight, and they had had enough, and they asked me to leave. So
now, what was it about the lifestyle of being in the Hells Angels? I know you mentioned in the book that kind of drew you back in continually.
For me, it started at a very young age. Growing up in my younger years, one of the things I identified was being that tough guy. Wanting to fight, wanting to be a part of a crew, a clique, a group. And as I went through high school, I identified with, various different drugs. The drugs that we had access to in the 80s is nowhere near what we have access to today, or our kids have access to today. So from there, one choice led to another choice, and eventually I made the choice, after kind of walking away from that lifestyle, starting my own business, to re-enter the lifestyle. I felt like there was a void. I was missing something. And at the end of the day, another poor choice on my behalf led me to making the decision to become a full patch member. So after a period of time, I did achieve that goal.
And they were, I know you mentioned in the book, it's a family, right? It gave you that support. So when you were kicked out, and then, there was addictions and homelessness, what was that? Take us through that rock bottom moment that you describe in the book.
Rock bottom, you feel like you had a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. I made all the poor choices for them to kick me out. Now I had nowhere to go. I knew no other lifestyle. I only knew the life that I had led up to that point. And then once I was out, I had lost everything. I spiraled more into addiction, where it led me all the way down to the Lower East Side of Greater Vancouver and in Surrey. And I was on a prison floor at the very worst human physical condition I can be in. And along came an old classmate of mine. His name was Kevin. I became a full patch member of the Hells Angels, and he became a policeman for Biker Gang Task Force. And from there, he made multiple attempts to come back in and reach out and try to help. But one time I just looked up at him and said, I never want to see a kid go through this. He looked at me and said, you can't even help yourself right now.
Yeah.
So it took some time, baby steps. We actually started with a WHL team. Saskatoon Plates was one of the teams I presented to in the very early kind of as we went through this road to recovery. And the second I started presenting to the WHL teams, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Now, we only have 30 seconds left, but there was a solid group of people, including Kevin and Gary, that have helped you make this book.
Yep. Gary is the co-author of the book, an old high school counselor that put his hand in once he was the associate superintendent for the schools. We created a program called Yo Bro, Yo Girl, which is a charitable organization that works with vulnerable youth throughout Greater Vancouver, and also we have a board of directors that continues to support the growth and scale of the organization.
And it is a wonderful organization, and you can actually go online to learn a little bit more about Yo Bro and Yo Girl, as well as Joe's book, To Hell and Back. Thank you so much, Joe, for coming in this morning and talking to us not only about Yo Bro, Yo Girl, but about the book. We appreciate it.
Thank you.